This massive arena is sitting in the middle of a barren wasteland. Imagine 40,000 rabid sports fans showing up for opening day. The game ends, they walk out of those gates, and there isn't any hotels for them to sleep in, there's no restaurants, there's nowhere for them to shop, there aren't even sidewalks. If all those fans just get in their cars and leave, Lithia Bay gets nothing but a massive traffic jam. But Lex is a businessman first, and he can envision thousands of open wallets heading for the waterfront. He intends to capture every single dollar that Lithia Bay can. So while the stadium was being planned and built, he fast-tracked a massive zoning overhaul to surround the area with retail, hospitality, and workers. The goal is to give all of those visitors a reason to stay and a place to spend. So today we're building out a brand new stadium district to capture that juicy tourist revenue. We'll lay down a massive commercial center, completely break our commercial demand with way too much mixed-use zoning, drop in the first hotels, detail the waterfront, and if you've been watching the channel for a while, we're going to be visited by the 3 dogs again. Wait a minute, what is going on? All dogs go to heaven? And it's absolutely magnificent. Let's jump in. Alright, so we're going to get started right here, but in order to do that, I need to change how I think about this area, because when I'm looking at it right now, I have no idea what to do. But there is a simple change that we can make in order to make this a whole lot easier. So first, let's start by getting rid of all of these trees right here. And it looks like we accidentally deleted a few decals, but really it's not going to matter. Now before we rework this path, I want to get a few buildings alongside this road. That way we can work our path around the buildings, rather than our buildings around the path. Before we do that though, we actually need to adjust this road. So I just want to quickly convert all of these roads to have sidewalks. And to do that, we're going to have to use Road Builder. We're going to use all of these as templates, then we'll drag our sidewalk over, and we'll make sure to add one to the other side. And this is a pretty big road. I want to try and reduce it, so let's drop the lane width down to 3 meters on each side. And that actually looks pretty normal, so it seems like we're going to get away with it. And before I forget, let's remove the shoulders on each side. And just because I'm awful at naming, I'm going to call this a 4-lane plus sidewalks. Now wherever we have the 4-lane, we're going to upgrade. The only thing we're going to change is once we approach our roundabout, we'll swap back down to a highway. And we want to do the same thing over here. But I'm going to break the node in half, and then I'll upgrade this section. And the only part left is this little section right here, so I'm just going to use Road Builder to fix all this up. Okay, this is starting to drive me just a little bit crazy. I want to maintain the lane markings, and I also don't want this to look so weird, but because I've used all of these custom roads here, it doesn't seem like there's really a good option. And was that a tornado? Where is it? Okay, it's not too big of a deal. Let's just continue on here. Alright, now I'm from the future, and I say, let's work the buildings around the path instead of working the path around the buildings, because that's going to be easier. And I say that because I've already tried and failed. Now the immediate challenge that I see is I've set this path up in a way which doesn't give us a lot of room to work with. So we're going to have to rework this section down here slightly. Before that though, I actually want to come right here, snap onto the side of this parking lot, and we're going to send this across. And how did that break pathfinding? I don't get it. What is the issue here? The road should still work. Let's add this in one more time. Okay, this time it decided to work for whatever reason. Now we're also going to wrap around these rocks. And that broke it again. Come on, give me a break. I wonder if adding a small little cul-de-sac will fix it. And no, it won't. My new brilliant idea is all we have to do is pull this road down a bit. And now that should reset the connections and fix everything. Okay, that was way too difficult, but I figured it out. We just needed to add the cul-de-sac first. Like I was saying, we're going to wrap around these rocks. And for the meantime, we're going to leave that right there because I have no idea where that's going now. But the whole entire point of this was to give us essentially an outline for where we need to go. So now we can just curve alongside the shore. And this is also going to be a challenge unless we rework this. I really do kind of like the beach though, but I think it has to go. Otherwise, there's no way we're going to make this connection in a clean way. It required a whole bunch of work, but you know what? I think it's actually going to turn out much better. We're going to quickly flip this track though. Now, because I'm from the future, I've already done this and failed. And what happened was that I couldn't get any buildings to fit nicely. And the outcome was that I hated it. So I don't want to do that again, which means in this specific section where it's very hilly, we are just going to pull this surface all the way down. Now I want 4 buildings, 2 fronting the road and 2 fronting the bike path. But the bike path doesn't support zoning. So what we're going to do is come over to this flat spot really quickly. I'm going to place down an alleyway right here, and we'll just send that further down. And we're going to grab these modern mixed southwestern buildings, and I just want to plop 2 down. And now I want to do the exact same thing on the other side. Once again, we're going to add our alleyway right through the building. And now we'll grab these 2 and just get them rotated around. And that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. So let's just pull these a little bit closer together. And I think that actually turns out really, really nice. Now time for the moment of truth. Do these actually fit over here? And it seems like it's going to be pretty tight, but it might work. I'm going to allow myself a little bit of wiggle room here. I'm going to select all of these sections, and we're going to increase their height just a little bit. Now there's only one more thing that I want to do for these buildings until we get to the detailing section. So we have these Urban Promenades grass decals, and I want to get them placed on this roof because I think it's going to look really good. All right, now I think if I get this road sloped the right way, we should be able to get zoning on both sides. It's going to be a bit tight, but I still think we can make it work. So to help define the 2 areas, we're going to add a path back here. And we'll have that connect in from this road into our bike path. And I wanted to make the same type of connection down here, but the slope on it is insane. So instead, let's just curve this directly into here and we'll call it a day. Now I really imagine this top section to be nice and vibrant, filled with commercial life. So I'm just going to place a few buildings down, starting with the Westwood Center. And then as a quick check, most of these businesses are filled in with companies. The only 2 that aren't are these at the end. Now that might cause issues, but I'm hoping that if we give it enough time, they'll all fill in. But really all I want to check to see is the street level view. How's that feel when you're walking down this street? I think that feels pretty good. Now for this side, we're going to do something just a little bit different. First, we're going to use some of these row homes, and I want to align these so that their back faces this path. Now we're going to come to the opposite side, and we're going to vary it up just a little bit. We want to keep these fairly tight, and it seems like 2 is probably our max. So now let's swap to this building, and the only reason we're going with this one is because when we place it in, we have just enough room to not overlap with the path, and that's a pretty big win in my book. And now in this section, I'd like to add just a little bit more commercial, but I want to make sure that we have a properly spaced out grid. And now that kind of looks a little bit crazy, but let's bring it over to our waterfront first and see how it looks over here. Okay, a little bit crazy is definitely an understatement. I think we can still salvage this though. We're just gonna pull this side closer in, and we'll pull the right side closer to the left side. And there we go. The only reason why I wanted to do that is because I really want 4-sided architecture. And honestly, I think once we detail, this is actually gonna look really nice. Okay, now I really want to develop the area inside the road, and we got a lot of great suggestions from the last video's comments. There was 2 that really stood out to me. The first one being that we should have some type of commercial mall type area. The second one being is that we should have hotels. And that's because the stadium is going to draw in a lot of people. Those people have money to spend, and if they've traveled very far, they need somewhere to stay. I really love both those ideas, and I think they're going to fit really well within the build. Unfortunately, for like a proper mall asset, I would say we're fairly limited. So we're going to use a few different buildings to make this work. And the first one that I want to start with is the H-E-B supermarket. To me, it has a very mall-like feeling. I mean, don't get me wrong, it still looks like a grocery store, but I can at least use my imagination to make it feel like it's a mall. So we're going to temporarily place that right here, and then we're going to take an alleyway and send this all the way across. And now let's flip this around. We still want to maintain our right-of-way though, so we will pull it down just a little bit more. That way if we ever need to expand this road in the future, it'll be easy. Next we'll continue our alleyway down, and then we have this amazing Barnes & Noble's asset, and this building just feels so perfect for creating a shopping center. So to get started, I'm going to snap it onto this road. I'm not going to touch the space in the middle, because there might be a time when we need to run a road down here. And to make life a little bit easier, I'm going to set this to be the same height as this road, and I want to add the alleyway right here. We'll move the building, and this will give us 1 unit of separation, which is perfect. Let's continue this alleyway down, and we'll connect back in. And this might be a bit crazy, but what about more than one? I feel like this building is just too good to not use more than once. And if we just pull it a bit closer, it looks like one cohesive store. We're going to need some parking, so I'm going to use the invisible road path, and we'll just get some built out in this section. I'm going to make a big controversial decision. I'm going to add one more in. And I want you to imagine with me that these are different stores. They're definitely not all the same store, I promise. But having the 3 there just makes it look so complete. And with a little bit of reworking right here, it now looks even more complete. And I'll fix the parking later. Now let's connect all of our alleyways in. We'll make one connection from this roundabout. And then we just need one more connection down here. And we're going to make that connection right there. Now this building is going to need some parking too. Now this is kind of anti-pedestrian given the way that it's set up, but this is North America, and I could definitely see something like this happening. I think the most unrealistic part is that we don't have enough parking for the shopping center, but I don't want to give any more because I want room for development here. Now we're going to try and get a hotel in, and I feel like we're probably going to have to go with something of medium density, and this asset right here should do the trick. I want to get this placed right by the highway. And I'm probably pushing my luck trying to get 3, but actually no. All 3 have filled in. I'm actually really happy that they all filled in. They're all going to need a road, so let's just get them connected in. I don't really see them being connected with a shopping center, so we'll make sure to keep them separate. We'll use a one-way, and we'll create one in section. And then we're going to create one out section. Make sure to clean up those nodes so that it's looking nice and smooth. And last but not least, we just need to add in some parking, and I know that's everyone's favorite thing. We are a bit pressed for space, so I want to use the underground parking block, and I just want to get that placed into this garage-like area. And we're going to add on a capacity for 100 parking spaces, and the parking won't cost anything because you're already paying to stay in the hotel. I'm going to try and pull that back far enough to where I can't see it. We're going to do the exact same thing with these buildings as well. Wait a minute, what is going on? All dogs go to heaven? What are they doing? I can't even actually click on them. Where are they going? Okay, I'll bite. Where are you guys going? If I had to guess, you guys are going to come out the other side of the building. And there they are. What are they doing? Yeah, this definitely isn't weird. You're weird. What is it with dogs always doing really weird things in my saves? Oh, I can finally click on them. They're going to Pat Back Medical, which is all the way down here. I don't get it. Why are they going here? Wait, they're going the wrong way. It's the exact same thing that happened last time. Oh no, I've lost them. I can't lose them. They're everything to me. Those dogs were like a son to me. Oh, okay, here they are. Oh no, this dog is just standing on the tracks. I don't think that's very good. All right, Max. What are you doing? Where are you going? Just remember everyone, this is a completely normal city with completely normal people. You're the weird one. Wait a minute, is the dog gonna get on the train? If so, I'm genuinely impressed. Okay, yeah, this is totally reasonable. Oh, we're back on the move again. Okay, we got places to be, people to see. The dogs in this game are genuinely cursed. While we're on the topic of cursed, so are the people. If you're ever wondering why this game stresses out your computer so much, it's because your poor CPU is doing calculations for pathfinding for these dogs that just like to fly in the air and do random things. Come on, get on the train. I want to see you get on the train. You're going all the way across the city. There's no way you're walking there. No way. The dog got on the train. It's actually on the train. Okay, what now? What's the big plan? Why is this even possible? Oh, wait, one more dog. We don't leave any dogs behind. There we go. Okay, now we're taking a long trip to the main city. I'm very invested in this story. I need to know where it goes. Do they make it to Pat Back Medical? Okay, great. We've arrived at the station. Now what? My poor CPU is just on fire. I can hear my fans in the background running at almost full speed. What is going on over there? That kind of looks a bit sketchy. We're almost at the finish line. Will they make it? And they made it. Wow. That was just riveting. I'm honestly tearing up at this point in time. So with that beautiful story done, I want to know, what lessons did you learn? What was the main takeaway? I think my main lesson is that I placed all of these buildings facing the wrong way. And that's why they didn't have power or water. Let's continue our development here. So we're going to grab a 2-lane road, and we're going to snap directly into the middle of this road. We'll pull that all the way through, and then we're just going to do a nice little gentle curve. Now I want to grab the Platinum Center, and we're going to place it directly on the street. And the issue with this building is that it requires pedestrian and road access. So we're going to pull this path all the way down to our road. And then we'll grab our invisible pedestrian path, and we'll just get that connected directly in. And then for the road access, we're going to do something similar. And I'm leaving a little bit of extra space. That way we can pull this surface down as well. And we'll just add in our invisible path. And of course, there's a tornado in Apple Ridge. Why wouldn't there be? Please just go away. Right beside that building, let's get a sports bar. Alongside this road, let's just add in a bunch more waterfront commercial. And then on the other side, we're going to add in some more commercial, but I'm not going to add a sidewalk to this road. That's because what I'll do instead is pull all of these buildings back a bit, and then we'll stretch the surface out, and then that's going to act like our sidewalk. Alright, and before we continue any further, we should probably assign a district to this area. That's because we're starting to see a bunch of hearse icons and it's a bit concerning. And for now, we're going to call this Stadium District. If you have a better name, suggest it in the comments below. And as always, we'll run a poll. Which reminds me, I already renamed this district because I kept forgetting. Its new name is Les Beaux de Lithia. If I butchered that, I'm sorry. Thanks to everyone who gave suggestions, it's really appreciated. Now I feel like we can still get away with stretching this crematorium, and our medical clinic should be pretty good. Yeah, we only have 7 out of 230 patients, and we have 0 out of 6 vehicles in use, so we're definitely just going to assign it to this district. In fact, I'm just going to quickly go check all of our services. And it looks like our urban elementary school is at max capacity. We do have 1 upgrade, and that's going to give us an extra 500. Which means we should be able to stretch it down here. I don't really imagine a bunch of students living here. As long as I'm not forgetting anything, this should be pretty much all the services we're ever going to need. And before I forget, I want to get rid of this building right here, and that's because we are going to replace it with this amazing Starbucks corner. Now unfortunately, this building is kind of clipping into it, but I don't think it's all that bad. I actually think it looks fairly reasonable. All we have to do is give our Starbucks upgrade on it, and that is perfect. And for the rest of Underhill Street and Green Highway, I want to use some of Smiley's assets because they're just so perfect. I am a big sucker for medium density, so I'm just going to go through and quickly plop some of these in. And although I love this building, I think my execution of its placement has just been awful, and that's mostly just because this building should be fronting a parking lot similar to these buildings, but yet it's fronting directly on a road. And when I first placed this road in, I had a different vision and idea of how this was going to come out, and this is not it. So we're going to delete both of these, and now we're going to rework our grid. This is going to allow for way more development. That is a massive improvement in my opinion. I do want to add that building back in eventually, along with a few others from Civic Beaver, which I'm really excited about. But for right now, let's just finish zoning all of this out. And given that we have sidewalks on these roads now, and that it's a bit more urbanized for lack of better words, there's one thing that I see happening on this road, and that's car-centric uses. So first, let's throw down a gas station. Then let's throw down a McDonald's, a bank, a pharmacy, and I think that's all we have room for. But in my opinion, that is a massive improvement, and I don't mean that's an improvement literally. I mean for a North American city, that's an improvement. Now I'm just going to quickly finish zoning the rest of this out. It's primarily going to be mixed use or residential. And this road is a lot steeper than I thought it was, so we're going to have to go with some row homes. And this is what we're going to call it for plopping for now. During detailing, if there's any adjustments that I think need to be made, that's when I'll do that. There is something really important that I think we need to do. I have mixed matched a whole bunch of different styles together, and I want to try and make it all feel cohesive. And we're going to start with our medium density Netherlands. So I was already working on a red color here, and really what I want to do is just make this a bit more vibrant. And I accidentally just clicked set all, and I'm starting to fear that I changed every single color within the entire city. I really hope that's not the case, and thankfully it doesn't seem to be. I'm going to take a guess and say that it only applies to buildings within a district. Next up, we also have these row homes, and right now they do not fit the area whatsoever. This time I want to take a few different colors and just kind of make it feel a bit more random. I'm going to go with these 4 colors right here. And I think that already is a really big improvement. I also want to randomize some of these row homes. Same thing down here. And the last important one is going to be the Romanian residential. Overall, I think this building can really work, but the current color set is just a bit too depressing. Unfortunately, we can't change the color. So of course, my secondary strategy would be to grab some of these decals and just see what they look like once we plop a few on. And I think I'm going to go with something like this. But before I do, I just want to step back and see. I mean, yeah, I think that fits the area pretty well. And of course, I added the American flag because this is America. And looking at it so far, I think it's a really wonderful addition. We still have a bunch more waterfront development to do in the future, but for right now, this is where I'm going to call it. And that's because although this looks better, it still looks rough. And we need to take this to the next level, which means we need to detail. For detailing, I really just want to elevate this as much as possible, and I just want to go with the flow in order to do that. I find that when I try and plan detailing out too much, I end up losing that creative spark that I usually have in the moment. I'm definitely excited to see how this is going to turn out. So with all of that in mind, let's just jump into detailing. right, and with that, we are done. I think in the future, I'll clean a bit of this up off camera, because there are a few things that stand out to me that really need to be fixed. Specifically, this waterfront right here, there's nothing on it. Before we jump into a quick before and after, I've gotten a few comments saying that YouTube wasn't showing them my Project Zomboid videos. So if you like Project Zomboid or think you might like it, please check them out. With all of that said, let's jump into a quick before and after. And that's a wrap. I really hope you enjoyed. Today's shoutouts go to Jake Hill, Gary Key, Deku, Middleveen, Freya Stark, Michael Mills, and Evan Aird, and everyone else supporting the channel. It really does mean a lot. If you want sneak peeks, save file access, or exclusive roles on Discord, you can join us over on Patreon or YouTube. If you haven't already, a like, comment, and subscription really go a long way. And other than that, I'll see you in the next one.